Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to East Carolina University. We are here for another edition of Pirate Parents Live. My name is Chris Stansberry. I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor for the Division of Student Affairs, and we are here with you for what will probably be our last one before we get to the end of the year, and we are looking ahead, and we are talking about finishing strong. It's so important for our students. It's important for our parents to understand what our students are going through. We have three of my favorite people here on campus that are here with us today. All three of them combined have about 50 years of experience here at East Carolina University, so they know a little bit about what they're talking about. And so we are very happy to have them here. So I'm going to start just with introductions right here. I've got Dr. Elizabeth Coghill. She is the director of the Pirate Academic Success Center, and that's where we are right here live today in the Academic Success Center. And she's been at ECU for 17 years and very committed to making sure that our students have all the support and resources that they need, and we're going to hear more about her and what they do here in just a little bit. Dr. Mary Beth Corbin, she's been at the university since the year 2000, and she was just a baby. And she is the executive director of the Office of Student Transitions, and really what we say for Mary Beth is she takes them from the time they get here to orientation until they get out with graduation, so she's got them from stem to stern, and we're going to talk with her about that. Dr. Stephen Asby, he is the Associate Director in the Academic Advising and Support Center, and Stephen and his staff and Dr. Jane Geisler, they are making sure that your students get everything they need, from picking out classes to making sure that all their questions that they have, that you have as parents, get answered all along the way. So we're going to talk today. I'm going to slide out. We're going to start throwing questions to them. We are going to talk about finishing strong. So I'm going to throw, as I slide right in front, I'm going to start with each of you. When you think about and what you know about our students coming from March to May, really they're going down the home stretch. So kind of give us some thoughts when you think of finishing strong in each of your roles. What does that mean? Start with you, Dr. Coghill.
Great. What that means for us is, we have 6 weeks to go, and we've been saying that to the students who walk in the door, that finish strong means getting a rhythm. Even if I don't have quite the rhythm and using tutoring or getting academic support facilities and services going, I can do that right now. So we will never turn a student away. So even if they walk through our doors in the last 2 weeks of the semester, we're going to start working with them right then and there, because we can always develop some new patterns for the future. If they really finish strong and really connect into resources, what a huge difference can happen with a grade between now and the end of the semester. We're going to fight against the spring weather. We're going to fight against them being tired and having other kinds of things to do, and keep supporting them and being able to connect with tutoring or work with a study skills coach till the end.
Dr. Corbin?
Okay, so what we're doing, we're outside of the classroom, so outside of the academics. We're encouraging students, as Elizabeth said, we have 6 weeks left. Get involved in student organizations if they haven't yet. If they have, stay involved, be a very active participant. But if not, start exploring some options. Start thinking about summer jobs if they haven't done that yet. It's really important to start now.
Yeah.
Internships that they can connect with career services. And finally, I would say if they're thinking about living on campus next year, they need to start looking, if they haven't already, start looking into those apartment complexes they might be interested in.
Dr. Asby?
Yeah, from the academic advising side, we're getting geared up for registration. Students are meeting with their advisor right now. That includes talking about summer classes, whether it be at ECU, at a local community college. They're reviewing their degree works, their degree plans. They're using Schedule Planner to really make sure that they can maximize what next semester looks like. And as we kind of get to the end, it's important for the students, when they have questions, to connect with their advisor even after registration, just to say, hey, is this looking okay? Are we moving in the right direction? It's amazing when we find out after the fact. A couple questions we can usually handle. So one of the things for parents is to definitely help your student understand that their academic advisor is here to help.
So for those of you watching on Facebook Live, if you're watching live, feel free to throw us a comment or a question. We have folks that are monitoring. If you have a question for the panel, go ahead and post it in the comment section, and we will include that into our conversation. If you're watching this on the archived edition, feel free to still post your comments. We'll have folks that moderate and that they can give you responses as we get them. I would be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit right now about where we are. We are in your backyard, Elizabeth. So this has evolved. I know I've been here 11 years, and where you came from was pretty much, I'm an exaggeration, a storage closet to a stadium.
It was actually a rolling cart from Staples, and it
Yeah,
went back and
from a
forth.
rolling cart to a stadium almost. So talk a little bit about where we are today, what students have, because this is just, I mean, for folks, when you come and visit campus, this should be one of the places you come to see.
Absolutely, and we're really proud of this place. I think the Pirate Academic Success Center started out just providing tutoring services for our first 4 or 5 years, and then expanded, because students don't just need the tutoring course content information, they need the bigger picture. How they're planning their day, how are they connecting to the professors that they are experiencing every day, how are they playing the game, and are they building good strategies to be successful. And so this place has expanded. We serve 26% of our undergraduates. We'll have about 60,000 visits by the end of this year in this space. And so every hour on the hour, students are coming in getting academic support, like you can see behind us. And we're really proud of the learning that happens here and the way we connect resources and technology and whatever that student needs to be able to be successful in their life.
So let me follow up with that and say a lot of what is done, high majority, is peer-to-peer. It is the students with the students.
Correct.
If I'm talking to parents that are watching this at home, and maybe my student's struggling a little bit, maybe they're not that person that's going to reach out and ask for help. What advice do you give to mom and dad to say, you know what, this is what you can do to kind of coach them along?
Right. We purposely host like COAD 1000 freshman seminars here in our center. If a floor in an RA or in campus living wants us to do a program, we ask them to come here so that we see students get really familiar with it. But I every week have parents call me directly, and we have a chat about what's going on with their student. And what I do is then reach out to the student and warm up the service to them. And the parents usually help me get the students in the door. And once, if we can get them that first time, because it takes a lot of courage to walk in and ask for help, especially our young men, it takes a lot of courage for them to ask and let those defenses down. So we meet them where they're at. We'll start working with a study skills coach. We'll talk about their preferences and kind of match up tutors to them so that they can feel really comfortable with the tutor that they meet with, and just get those services started. It usually takes 2 or 3 visits for them to start seeing some results in classes, so we've got to really encourage them to stay the course, and then they'll start to see the benefits of it.
And I do think that's important to note for the young men, but also for our female students too. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of intelligence to be able to recognize that there's there to have people that can help you and that can reach out. Dr. Corbin, Dr. Asby, I'm coming your way. You mentioned summer being a key time. I think times have changed from when we went to school. Summer might have been, I'm going to go work at a convenience store, I'm going to work at a grocery store in the summertime. I think summer now is a time where you really have to take advantage of that and explore opportunities. Mary Beth, you mentioned internships, but even as you're kind of doing your academic approach, don't miss out on summer. How do we go into summer and not miss it?
I want to share a story that a former faculty member told me one time. So he did an internship. He really thought he wanted to go into the medical field. So one summer his job was he worked as an EMT. That gave him experience, right? So he joined the EMT. He had his first trip out to an accident and realized, I cannot be a doctor. So
It was a successful summer.
it was a successful summer. So, you know, as we talk about internships or jobs, I would say think about your major, if you know what that is. And if you don't know, this will be a great opportunity to sort of explore it through an internship or some kind of job.
Sometimes that's just shadow.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
parents can really help with that in your network of who you know, and make those connections. Even if our students go in first for an informational interview, we talk about that in COAD a lot, of going in that first time and asking about the career. So often that ends up opening up doors for that student to have an internship in the future there, or spend the summer with a valuable experience in shadowing.
Stephen, for you and your advisor and your advisors in your team are very connected with the faculty. The faculty are very connected with employers. When you are helping them find schedules and finding, how much do you talk about summer and saying this, like Dr. Corbin said?
We talk about it a lot, and traditionally, summer was, I need to catch up because I'm behind. But a lot of students are using it now as a platform to alleviate fall and spring. You know, I know if I isolate my math course, or if I isolate my English course, or I can even jump ahead. And that's something that has kind of changed a little bit. A lot of students are using summer, whether at ECU, whether online, or at local community colleges. They're using summer kind of as a platform to yes, catch up sometimes, but a lot of times spring forward. We work with students, and exactly as they've mentioned, try to find experiences, whether shadowing, whether internships, whether it's connecting with faculty for a research project, whatever it is, in their field. And traditionally I'll find students that, you know, maybe they work at Chick-fil-A, but they want to go into a different area. And so could we possibly look at maybe an experience where you could get in with an accountant and you can sit down and you can kind of see what they're doing. Sometimes it's just like Dr. Corbin said, wow, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Success, that's good. You know that's not what you want to do. And for others, they get right in and they start getting experience. And as they get experience, students will walk across the stage, they'll get that piece of paper, and a lot of them will have the same degree. It's the experience sometimes that can set them apart. So we try to preach that.
Yeah, and you know, not knowing exactly what you want to do as a profession is probably a high majority of us that went through our undergrad, right? I mean, we might think we want to know, we're not sure, but the key part is testing it out. What can they do during the last 3 months of this semester that's not only going to get them ready for summer, but really we're coming up on some important dates and some times? What are things that they should be focusing on to make sure that I don't just take a hiatus, that I'm actually kind of ready when the fall comes in?
One of the big ones is meeting early with their academic advisor to discuss summer and fall registration. Once that is kind of handled, one of the things that we do is frequently refer them to other offices on campus. Could be the Career Center, looking for assistance there. It could be with PASC to really nail down as the final couple weeks come about. The biggest thing for us and advising is to make sure that the students do think about the future and do think about planning, and that's some of the wonderful software we have here with DegreeWorks, with Degree Planner and Schedule Planner, that students can truly see what's coming. And it's not one of those, I'm going to be surprised, but working with their advisor, using the tools we have to maximize that.
For all three of you, how can parents, because part of what we want them to do is we want the students to come and take ownership of their path, right, through that college path, and do things on their own. But moms and dads have had them for 17, 18, 19 years. It's not so easy to let go. Where can they get involved in this process, either in any of your three capacities? How can they be involved to support their student too?
Well, from my end, I love when parents let me know that they're concerned, and so that we can reach out to their student and be able to leverage some of those conversations. I think as a college parent myself, we know our students and we are trying to get them to be their own advocates, but there are times that we need to help, guide them a little bit to those resources. And so being aware of those resources, I think too, listening to our students, really listening. What's the balance of what they can do? Are they exhausted at the end of this semester, and do they need to be working this summer and not be in school? And that is okay. I think we put strategic mindsets on as parents, and we want to map everything out for them. And sometimes we come across too strong, and we need to listen to our student, and it'll be all right. And we'll catch up those other courses, and to speak with their advisor when they're making those final decisions.
Yeah, I would just add, I also enjoy talking to the parents, and we meet a lot during orientation, and they stay in touch with us. I lost my train of thought because I'm thinking about something you said about career services and talking to people. So I just want to let parents know or remind them that students have a career liaison. Every college has a career liaison. So in these last 6 weeks, while they're talking to you and you, if they're wondering what path they want to take or some opportunities that they should check in. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that we have Parent Services, which is sponsoring this. So I think that's certainly a way that parents can get involved through that office. And then I'm back to Career Services, and you mentioned, parents are employed. So if there are employers, if there are ways we can get students into their businesses, that'd be super.
And we have a lot of
all over the
alumni
place.
out there.
We do.
We have alumni in every
absolutely.
community who really want to help the future pirate and to help them succeed. And so we're always ready, I think, as people to give those kinds of advice to students and give them some assistance.
Absolutely, and to echo what Dr. Coghill said, we love parents, but we sometimes need a heads up. We need to know that you've got concerns, because a lot of times the students will come in for advising meetings. Everything's great. I'm making straight A's. You gotta be kidding me. College is easy. End of the semester, oh. And so open lines of communication, listening, knowing your student, being able to kind of help them check their pulse is important. But understand that our campus, I mean, we truly are one. I mean, we're a village, and we know, and I know personally, she sees me, I walk students over here, especially my guys, because they're not going to say, I'm having trouble. Well, luckily we have systems like Starfish here where we can get alerts that our students are struggling, and we can go, hey, look, let's talk about this. In our meeting, you said everything was fine, but I'm seeing it's not. What can we do? Let's walk over, see Dr. Coghill, and try to get you some resources.
I think that's what I'm most proud of for ECU, is that we really do try to circle the wagons around our students and assist them. And if it's a parent that's listening that's thinking about ECU as an option, we hope that you will come and then look at our facilities and talk to us a little bit about what we offer. I know, I'm just going to brag on us for a minute. I know as a learning center, we are tops in the state. And we go up against other learning centers nationally with the kinds of things that we do here. And so that's a great resource for your student when they come in the door. Having professional advisors really connect with them from the very beginning in orientation can be so impactful. And the fact that we have career services connected, that helps us parents, because we want them to get a job and not live in the basement, right? So I think that makes such a big difference for us to know that our students are in really good hands.
I'm going to add on to the bragging, because when I came to this school 1,000 years ago, one of the reasons I picked here was because of the personal touch. So that was in 1989, and things were way different than they are right now. But the ability for somebody that you have to walk somebody to an advising center, we see somebody who's a student in crisis, and you'll see somebody walk them to the counseling center.
Absolutely, we do it all the time.
You just see staff that maybe it's outside of their realm of responsibility for day-to-day jobs, but they're committed to the success of students.
We on campus, an ECU student is our student.
Yeah.
It's not a biology student, or it's not a tutor, or it's not a mentor. It's our student, and that's kind of, we have to be there for that. And anybody who is needing something, it's here. We have any and everything that anybody, whether it be a student organization, whether it would be I need help with class, or whether I need an internship, it's here. It's just a matter of sometimes helping your student have that voice and be an advocate for themselves, to go to someone and say, here's what I'm looking for. We'll get them there.
Good.
Well, I was just going to say, because you brought this up, and as we are thinking about the last 6 weeks, so maybe some of our students are feeling stressed, whether it's academically, or I don't know what I don't know my major, I don't know what I'm going to do this summer. We do have the counseling center. So if you are sensing a lot of stress, or whatever amount of stress from your student, I would strongly encourage that they go to that counseling center. And we can get them there.
Right, and when they come home for the summer, have conversations with them.
Absolutely.
Talk to them.
Right.
And check their pulse and see how things are going, so that when they come back, we can help. Mary Beth, I want to talk to you about one of the things I think we do well at ECU is trying to get folks involved with the career services early.
Absolutely.
A lot of times people are thinking junior, senior years when I should be doing that, and they're probably 2 years too late by the time they've gotten to that point. Why is that so important for, let's say I'm a parent of a freshman getting ready to be a sophomore. Why do I need to make sure that they're involved in career services earlier?
Well, first of all, career services has so many resources for students that they can participate in. So resume writing, job search, networking, so many opportunities. And then we have our big career fairs. We help them get ready for career fairs. So as you said, if you wait till your junior or senior year, that's too late. Career Services actually has a 4-year road plan that when they meet with their students, so they map out this 4-year road plan to help them get to the end. So we encourage them at orientation to meet their career liaison, just like they're meeting their academic advisor. It's never too soon.
Yeah, I was going to say that it translates to each of you as well. I mean, if they wait till their senior year to come see you, Elizabeth, or to come connect with their advisor, they've kind of missed the boat.
Well, I also think there's impactful experiences that they can have while they're in school. For instance, we're a very large employer of tutors and academic mentors. And so we will have, this semester, 286 students are on our student crew. And not all of them are paid, a good many are. Some of them are volunteering for experiences. And so there's a lot you can do on the campus when they come back in the fall as well. And we need that help in recruiting students who are doing really well or students who may have work study. And we're a big employer of work study students. But what we get to do for them is give them first taste of employment, of having an interview that's low stakes and that we can work with them doing evaluations for the first time. The leadership skills that a student grows into as they're involved in student government or student organizations or an on-campus job is so impactful to their future. And it gives them something later on to talk about. So we can do it at home, but we can do it here as well.
And Stephen, I think a lot of times when you compare resumes of students coming out of college, they're pretty comparable. But when you hear Elizabeth say leadership, and you hear maybe I've got an elevator speech from a career fair, and I've got some of those soft skills, all of a sudden that gap widens to somebody's advantage.
It does, and one of the things that I absolutely praise career services about and send students to, whether they are decided on their major, whether they're undecided, is the ability they have to do assessments and truly make sure that students are making congruent decisions between who they are and what they want to go into. And we sometimes laugh, we're like, hey, the student that's not really good at math wants to be an engineer. Well, instead of saying, oh, I don't think it's going to work, well, let's talk about your positives. Let's talk about exactly how you're coded and how we could get you into something engineering-like, where you kind of have your passion. But for us, it's really about making sure that the students make congruent decisions. I think many students enter college with an idea of how things are going to be and sometimes what they're going to do in the future. It's important to not just understand that the major is a part, but also the career. And yeah, the resume is huge, the cover letter, and preparing kind of this is me. And a lot of students will use minors. I have a lot of students that want to go into communication, for instance, and they want to do journalism. Well, is it going to be more writing for the political arena or sports? Well, then political science or sports studies might want to combine with that. So it's about that total package, and I think the experiences, and anybody who wants to work in education, working at the Pirate Academic Success Center would be a phenomenal foot in the door.
And we find that for medical school as well, and for programs like that. I have to say, though, we talk about this in orientation. Parents need to have a really open mind about majors. And so if your student has done that exploration and suddenly they really want to change, I believe in making them show us why they need to change and have that conversation so that they're really thinking it through. But we as parents have to really listen that maybe they aren't a math major or an engineer, but there's another path for them to go on. And when our students find that, it is an amazing feeling as a parent to watch them succeed.
So it's also one of those, it's a transition point too, because we're trying as parents, and I'm a parent of a 15-year-old getting ready to go through this, so I don't quite have it there yet. We're trying to get them to stand on their own 2 feet. But then when they come back and they tell us as an adult that they want to make a decision like change a major, we're going to argue with them and then put the hammer down and say, no, you don't want to do that. So it's kind of a very difficult place.
I actually role play with my students. It's something that I try to get them to kind of have an active hand in. If they've done the research, they've been to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they know that what they're going into is going to provide success and it's going to propel them into something that they're really passionate about. Many times their parent, are you sure you're going to be able to make money? Or go to them with facts and go to them with, I've made an adult decision. And a lot of times, I get them to come back and they're like, oh my gosh, that really worked. And I said, well, what you're doing is you're truly stepping outside of that parent and child relationship. You're stepping into, you seek guidance from your parent. And they always say, yeah, I absolutely want to know what they think. And I said, so if you go to them with research, which is research, but you go to them with tangible information, it's usually a lot easier to have those open lines of communication.
And I'm a fan of empowering our parents to ask the right questions. So now, even after today, we can say, okay, I hear you wanting to make this decision. Have you talked to your advisor? Have you talked to your career counselor? Have you talked to the tutoring center? Right?
What did they say?
What is their feedback? And then when your student says, yes, I did, and then I did do this, then it feels like it's a much better decision. So this is going to change topic a little bit, but it's going to seem like a pretty broad question. with the students that you interact with, is there one or two or three things, the ones that have figured it out and the ones that are doing it well? What are some of those steps? What are some of those success factors?
When I see, and my staff, we were just talking about this the other day, because for the students that are doing it really well, they are active learners. They are not going to get, if they go in a classroom and it's not fitting their learning style, or the faculty members presenting it a certain way, but they need it in a different way, they are going to go to tutoring, and they might be getting a B in the class, but they want their A. So they're going to go to tutoring for that. Or they're going to watch videos that our tutors create, and they're going to watch it on their own time to understand that concept. Or a video on YouTube, whatever it takes to make that really active. The ones who are taking it much more passively, they're the ones that are struggling. The other thing that we see is that we're doing a lot of conversations with students, our professional staff, about when are you going to get up this morning? How do we get you in a rhythm from 9 o'clock on to being able to manage your day? And some of them want to just take all classes you show.
My coffee, yeah.
Some want to go into registration and decide, I'm going to just take classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's it, and it's going to be perfect. And then they find out it's not so perfect. So we want to have conversations about rhythm and who they are as a person, and how they've learned in the past and what they can do for the future. And those conversations are great with advisors and planning their day. Because part of the plan is planning for success. It's just even in how they put their classes together.
Maribeth?
Yeah, I would say the students we work with that I see have been successful really take advantage of the resources on campus. So they know the resources, whether it's getting involved in student organizations or it's academics. I'm so used to tutor, so I'll just say PASS, or counseling. And also, I think they're comfortable talking to a faculty. They don't mind going to a faculty member. That's so hard for our students to learn to do, especially our first year students. But if they can just get into that comfort zone of speaking to faculty. So our students that are successful, engage across campus, take advantage of our resources, and get involved with their faculty.
So you think proactivity?
Get out of your dorm room?
Yeah.
Proactivity is key. I can look back in my tenure as an advisor, and the students that succeed are the ones that come in early, that are already planning not just their next semester, but the next couple semesters, trying to understand when their classes are going to be structured. Are they going to be able to get a job? Are they going to have an internship in their major? And are they already looking to where that can be? I think proactivity is really important for any of the students that are going to be successful.
All right, so we're coming to the end. I almost tripped the fellas. I came around the table. We're coming to the end of our program. I want to thank Emily Lynn Atkins and Parent Programs for putting this on today and providing this opportunity. I want to thank each of you. First of all, thank you for opening up your office and your space and your students to all of us. It's just truly amazing. I encourage you, if you do come by, even if you're visiting campus, come by and take a look. It's truly impressive. We hope you've enjoyed this. Feel free to share it with some of your other parents and maybe even some of those that are interested in becoming future Pirates. We'd love to have them. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks.